Enjoy the film.
You want butter on your popcorn?
The theater will be ready in a second.
Do you guys want to get a pizza? Do you think they'll deliver pizza to a movie theater?
Why don't we just like eat popcorn?
Steve keeps track of all the popcorn.
Not that's on the floor.
Do you want?
That's
You
a
can
good
even pick out
point.
the used tubs out of the garbage, and you can just say it was a free refill.
Do you actually
you
want
do that?
floor popcorn?
Is that...
Is this something that
I
you've
do
done?
it all the time.
You know, we get free, don't we?
Have you been getting free popcorn? Because I've been getting yelled at by Steve after almost every shift.
Oh,
About
yeah, me
missing-
You
too.
eat popcorn every shift?
No, I don't eat. I get yelled at by Steve because there's popcorn missing. That's not accounted for.
Yeah,
it's not purchased.
Oh.
It's not-
I don't get free popcorn.
Well, you guys need to. What was that?
I don't know.
I think there's an
Oh,
owl in
it's
the
Mark.
rafters.
No, it's Mark.
Oh,
Hey, Mark.
it's Mark in the rafters.
He's not saying anything. He's just looking at us
Yeah. Well,
with his mouth open.
I think he's
God,
jealous. We all know you want to be a part of the podcast, but you're not allowed.
Mark.
You're not even supposed to be here.
Jeez.
This is your day off. All right. Well, yeah, he's weird. Well,
Just climbed right out the window. Goodness.
okay.
All right.
Problem solved.
I don't think they'll deliver pizza to a movie theater.
All right, then let's not order pizza.
Okay. Problem.
Prob-
Another
yeah,
problem
problems-
solved. There's
good
two
job.
problems
Everyone's
solved
short
in
of
like
his.
less than a minute.
All right, so let's get this started.
Did you guys see my new lip ring?
I did, and I
Well,
think
normally it's on your lip,
Yeah.
not on your lower gum. That's
Well, they call it. What do they call that? It's
I don't think I called anything.
a King Charles or something.
I don't think
I
that's
think that's it.
correct.
I think
Nope,
they call it a King
nope,
Charles.
I don't think that is.
that's it. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, you can stop staring now.
I can't stop. You've
No.
pointed it out, and it looks like
Is it supposed to keep... how long ago did you get that?
Like 4 days.
And it's supposed to be
And it's-
bleeding this
it's
heavily
still
4
yeah,
days later?
It's
Well,
flowing.
You know, I mean, you wouldn't get mad at a girl if like at 4 days into her period she's still bleeding. I don't understand why this is a problem.
I
Ooh.
don't know enough about women to
Ooh.
talk about that.
I don't think those are related at all. Very different types of things
Yeah,
going
I don't
on
think
there.
girls do that.
You don't think... Okay. All right, let's... My name is Kyle,
My name is Greg.
I'm Henry.
and we're going to talk about movies. We're going to talk about anything else, but specifically we're going to talk about movies. In particular, one movie that we all watched this week. Mm-hmm. We all went over to Greg's place this week.
Yeah, thanks for coming over, by the way.
Yeah, I'd never been to
I'd-
Greg's before.
Yeah, gave me a reason to clean.
Oh, that was clean?
Yes. What? Why?
No reason. You had us over because you were super duper excited to show us this film.
Yeah, I really was. I was super excited to show you, coincidentally enough, Too Clean for Your Own Good.
Yeah, so we all got together and checked it out.
Yeah, man. I was a bit on the fence about this movie, personally.
You were very excited to show it to us, but...
No, that was just to get you into my apartment.
Oh, had you not seen it before?
No.
That seems like an unnecessary
not.
lie, but...
Well,
Why
I mean,
did you want us in your apartment so bad?
Well, because nobody ever comes over.
And you never thought to ask yourself why?
Yeah, or you could have said, let's
well-
come over to my apartment and watch a movie.
I was confused most of the
I
movie.
basically said just that. Hey, guys, why don't you
That's
come over
not
to
at
my
all.
place?
No, you said, guys, I'm really, really excited to show you this movie. It's called Too Clean for Your Own Good.
we
I-
have to watch it.
I cleaned everything. You
Yeah.
said those words, and then we came over. We saw it wasn't that clean,
and then
we
watched a movie
watched
that
a movie
apparently
that was
yeah, you had not seen before.
very confusing.
I don't know how to be more clear about it.
All right, let's
All right. Anyway,
let's get into the movie. Let's talk about Too Clean for Your Own Good. So this film is an animated film. Hand-drawn animation, classic animation. Not none of this computer generated animation.
That garbage.
Well, not garbage,
That
it's just
computer
different.
animated garbage. Nothing like that shit over at Pixar.
So now you're really passionate about this movie all of a sudden.
Yeah, now you're getting really defensive early on about just the style this film was made in, not even the content.
I think it was pretty well animated. But
It was.
It was a
mean
well
that
animated
it's better
film.
than
I thought
a
it was
different-
miles better than what Pixar does over there. Like garbage. That being said, I was kind of on the fence about this movie.
Right. Why don't
That
you?
makes sense.
Why don't you talk about it, Greg?
Yeah. This movie centers around this little cartoon guy who looked fantastic, by the way. This little cartoon guy who lives in a garbage can.
Right. He's a cockroach.
He's a cockroach, this little cartoon cockroach guy. He desires companionship.
Right. He's a lonely little cockroach in a garbage can.
He has a cute hat, though.
Adorable
Yes,
hat.
A little bowler hat.
That spoke to him.
Right.
He desires friendship other than his clothing.
So it started off, right on the right foot. Honestly, I really did, connect with this character immediately. Not only the main cockroach, but also his hat, Gary, and then his overcoat, Gary too. I thought that was really, really interesting that they named them both the same.
I really identified with Gary too.
I think it was because the cockroach couldn't come up with more than one name.
Right. Because it should be pointed out that while he's talking and interacting with this hat and his overcoat, it's all in his head. Like, we see it as speaking and talking, but it's strongly implied that this cockroach is not mentally sound.
Yes.
Right.
That is further shown throughout the movie, where he, in his desire to have companionship, he goes on a cleaning spree.
Right.
Yes.
And he's trying to clean up
The garbage,
which
is futile and
Right.
like
Because he lives in New York City.
lives in
and
New
it's
York
just
City.
A cesspool for garbage.
Yeah, have you ever seen the streets of New York City?
I have.
They are very hard to eat off of.
Yeah.
what is
I
with
don't
you
recommend
two
it.
in eating things from the floor and the ground?
What are you talking about?
It's easier to do it here than
Yeah.
New York City.
It's the
Way
world. It's the
easier.
biggest plate.
Now you're arguing the ease of it, but not the reason why.
No, it's so easy.
And it turned out a meal,
I mean,
a hot meal.
somebody
If
throws
it's
somebody
hot,
throws a
It's probably not supposed to be, or it's been
Well, I mean-
baking in the sun.
set it in the sun for long enough. Yeah,
That's right.
exactly.
But that's not.
You know the phrase, you could cook an egg on the sidewalk?
that
I
age
cook
old
all my eggs on the
phrase.
sidewalk.
That's
Exactly.
unnecessary. You own a stove.
That's what I dry my clothes on.
Right.
I feel like we're getting further and further from what we were talking about, which is how easy it is to eat off of the sidewalk.
No, we're
I'm
talking
sorry.
about too clean for your own
Gotcha.
good. So this cockroach, which we should mention is unnamed.
Right.
No name.
throughout the entire film.
His hat and his overcoat have names.
They just call him. They just call him buddy or fella,
Sport, pal.
chief.
Yeah, but this cockroach, his arch nemesis is Mr. McGruff, who lives in the building. The garbage can is set next to, and he's always dumping trash out of his window into this garbage can. So as much as this cockroach is trying to clean, Mr. McGruff is always tossing out banana peels and dumping rancid, whatever
Right.
on top of him. So this cockroach realizes that if he wants to make friends other than his clothing, he needs to clean up. He believes he needs to clean up this garbage can, and he can't do that with Mr. McGruff.
Right.
If this becomes a revenge thriller, an animated, 2D animated revenge thriller.
Adorable.
Right.
Adorable
Frightening.
until it isn't.
So, just moving into the meat and potatoes of it all, I found this movie to be phenomenal, but, missing some big points, which is why I can't really say I thoroughly enjoyed this film.
Right. You're on the fence about it.
I'm on the fence about it. Very well animated, though.
Yes.
Like, phenomenally well animated.
it was good.
When he kind of decides how he's going to make friends was to clean the garbage can. His revenge to kind of clean the streets of not only the garbage, but also of, the antagonist here, Mr. McGruff. He sets out on his journey to basically, with the intent to take Mr. McGruff out.
He scales the building, and he's able to squeeze in, into Mr. McGruff's apartment. And from there, it kind of becomes this Tom and Jerry sort of situation. There's a lot of very cartoony violence where he's hitting him, with dropping pans on his head, and it's all very goofy. And then there's kind of this switch
Right.
when the cockroach locates Mr. McGruff's hunting rifle.
Right.
Things get dark.
Things get really dark. Things
Right.
get
Real dark,
really
real
violent.
quick.
Mr. McGruff wakes up taped to a chair, just wrapped
Right.
in like duct tape.
The way that the cockroach was delivering those lines, where he's like, "You think this is easy? You think it's easy?
I'm an inch tall.
I'm an inch tall."
Right.
Then his hat's like, "Hey man, think about what you're doing."
Right. So the hat and the overcoat kind of become the angel
His conscious
and
in a
devil.
way.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
The hat is like, maybe think about this. The overcoat is like,
Go with your heart.
rip off another fingernail.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. I think for me, like the even more graphic than that was when he got a hold of his cell phone and he starts, texting his contacts, sending him like graphic pictures of all this, whatever is on his phone, and it's like really threatening, really like crass, and it was like,
Right. He finds his mother's number and like holds the phone up to Mr. McGruff as he's chewing into his throat, and it's just like, why and when did this switch happen? Like,
Yeah, golly, it was
it was
seamless.
right around that point. I
Yeah.
think right
was
around the
very-
point where
yeah.
he
You
got
kinda-
the rifle taped him to the chair and then started torturing him.
it's funny
Like, it
because
went-
right, a lot of the violence that was happening beforehand would have caused damage like this, but it wasn't. It was the classic like, oh, he hit him with a 2x4 and he got a big cartoony lump on his
Right.
head, but then he's chewing through his throat, and it's
Right.
very like
And maybe
medically
I think
accurate.
maybe it was something to do with like the dichotomy of like him in the real world versus what he kind of sees himself as, like maybe he views himself in more cartoony, because we've already established he's not mentally stable. We've already established that
True.
he's kind of experiencing the world a very different way than we
Yeah.
were.
Right, he's picturing his hat and his coat talking to him.
Maybe that kind of blurs the line for him of like what is reality, and like where
Yeah.
we see this switch.
Where does
Maybe
the
this switch
cartoon
happened way before that.
Yeah.
We just aren't sure.
Oh, and all this stuff has been
That's fascinating.
That's a very good good point.
That's almost enough to make me like this film.
Are you still on the
I'm
fence?
still on the fence, huh?
I tell you, I'm teetering.
Maybe we can sway you in one way or another.
Yeah, I don't really care which one. but-
Really,
Yeah, I don't
honestly,
know,
I
man.
was
I don't
confused
know,
for
man.
a good
I have-
portion of this film.
I have no horse in this race, but it was pretty great, especially during the part where Mr. McGruff's housekeeper comes in, and Mr. McGruff is on the floor, and his throat is chewed almost all the way through, but he's still alive,
Right.
and he's breathing, and he's going, and she's like, Mr. McGruff, and she runs towards him, and then trips on the wire.
Right.
Which sets off just the craziest Rube Goldberg machine of like death. And you
Goodness.
think, at some point she could have moved out of the way, she could have stopped this, but really it's,
And it's weird because it's this elaborate cartoony thing,
Right.
and then it just ends with an axe right in her forehead.
right. It just goes through, her just gasping for breath and then just falls right to the
Collapsing.
floor.
Oy.
And that's, and he's already claimed 2 victims.
Right, and the cockroach, he starts wiping her blood on himself.
Which is so against the title of the movie, which
Right.
is too clean for,
Too
your,
clean
own
for your own good.
Which is interesting because at this point, I think he's completely gone off the point of cleaning the garbage. I think that's not.
He's lost sight of his goal, and now this is just feeding his bloodlust.
Right.
Geez, he goes up to Mr. McGruff, and Mr. McGruff is terrified. And the cockroach goes up and he's all covered in blood, and he says, "Anyone else?
Yeah, are you expecting anyone else?
Is anyone else?"
He planned ahead in case someone showed up. He's kind of asking, do I need to reset
Right.
the
Do I need
death
to put all the
device?
dominoes back up?
'Cause that took him a
Do I
long
need to
time, I
Put
would
that
imagine.
basketball
He really
back
doesn't
up on the
want to.
shelf.
Yeah.
Right.
But it is at this point that
Mark
It's fucking Mark out there.
he's doing donuts in the
He's
parking
doing
lot on
donuts
his motorcycle.
Yeah, his motorcycle.
God, Mark's the
He
fucking
thinks he's
worst.
so cool.
He's pretty cool.
He's kind of cool. He's a little cool. I really like Mark.
Yeah, we shouldn't invite Mark on the show.
Let's not invite Mark.
No,
He's
no.
not cool.
I hate Mark.
Mark can go suck it.
All right, he might listen to this, guys. So let's not go
Well, I
too
mean,
far.
he's a good guy.
Hey, Mark, you're cool.
I mean, he's probably stopped listening by this point after just the last minute of.
Good, because I don't even want him to.
Yeah.
I don't even listen to this. He's good at his job though, but he's an asshole.
All right. So
He's pretty cool though.
it's at this point in the film when the cockroach is really his hat is telling him that he needs to stop. His coat is telling him that he needs to keep going. He needs to go further.
Go further.
Right.
It's really no surprise he sides with the coat, and he starts stuffing garbage down Mr. McGruff's
Throat hole.
open throat.
Yeesh.
It's
disgusting.
it's too much. I'm gonna
Yeah.
say it's too much, and I can handle gore,
Uh-huh.
Right.
and it's even hand-drawn cartoon gore,
Very
and
well
this is
animated.
too much.
Right.
Yes, very well animated.
Very well
I
No
thought
one's arguing that
Inconvenient
point.
Truth
But
was
very
all the gore I
disgusting.
can handle, but this topped that.
An Inconvenient Truth.
Yeah, it had Al Gore in it, and that was a lot of gore. But this really took the cake. This really set the whole new bar for how much gore you could put in one film.
Yes,
Especially when Al Gore showed up in this one as Mr. McGruff's brother.
in a stunning cameo. Al Gore shows up, and they do the Roger Rabbit thing where he's like a real person in this cartoon world. And he's Mr. McGruff's brother.
But they just call him Al Gore.
Yeah, Al Gore shows up, and he comes in and he says, "I'm Al Gore," and then the cockroach just jumps from like Al Gore opens up the door, and then from the top of the door, the cockroach jumps and has a knife and just cuts all the way down.
Ow.
Are you okay?
Oh, I'm sorry, my lip is flaring up right now. I just need to put it back in place.
Whatever it is.
Where did you get that done?
The mall.
And they did it through
From
your
what
gum like that.
Yeah.
What store?
No, it wasn't at a store.
Did you go in and say, "Oh, wait,
There it is.
huh"?
Let's backtrack
okay.
just a little bit. So you got it at the mall.
Let's walk us through this.
What do you mean?
So you went to the mall. You
Yeah.
ended up at a place that was not a store in
Well,
that mall.
I didn't go to the mall. My friend Barry dropped me at the mall.
He dropped you at the mall.
You weren't requesting a ride to the mall.
No. We were going to the laser tag dome.
And
Well, you know, he's got his little quirks. You know, he started having some fits of road rage, and I told drop me at the mall. I don't want to go to Laserdome with you anymore. So
Okay.
he dropped me at the mall, and I was like, all right, well, how do I spend my time here? You know.
So you got your gum pierced.
Well, that was not what I originally intended to do.
So did you whoever did this, which I feel like we should get to, whoever did this to you, did you say, "I want a lip piercing"? Like this was a request you made
I
to
said
a
a King
person?
Charles.
See, I don't think that's a thing.
I don't know what that is.
Did this person seem to know what that was?
Of course, everybody knows what a King Charles is.
We don't know what a King Charles is.
Well, you guys are uncultured.
I'm uncultured.
I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you there. I don't.
Did
think
you
Greg
see
is
the
most...
stacks of magazines I had in my apartment?
Oh, we saw them.
Yeah,
and
they-
the old newspapers.
If you're trying to clean your apartment,
cultured.
maybe put all the dirty magazines away.
What are you talking about? My porn magazines were very well categorized.
They were
not
alphabetical. It doesn't mean that they're appropriate.
They were literally clean, but they were dirty magazines.
I am cultured.
Okay.
I'm cultured. All right.
Let's move past this. Let's get back to the movie.
Yeah.
So at this point, the cockroach has cut Al Gore open, burrowed into both his eyes.
Right.
So Al Gore arrives, says he's Al Gore, dies immediately.
Al Gore had like a lot of cocaine on him.
So much cocaine.
And the cockroach decides that, well, he doesn't decide. His overcoat decides
Right.
that
He's like-
he needs to do all of the cocaine.
Yeah, he's
All of
like,
it.
hey, this'll calm the shakes.
And like, think
Right.
about this. This is a lot of cocaine for a full-grown man.
Right.
And so then a cockroach, who's an inch and a half tall,
I'm an inch tall.
he's
Right.
just like swimming through this cocaine. It's like,
And then he goes on a
Scoop picked
cleaning
up.
frenzy. And he cleans the entire apartment.
Uh-huh.
He is able to get all of the trash out of the alleyway.
yep.
And then he even closes the window, and he gets over to the next apartment next door, and he cleans that whole apartment too.
Right.
Then they arrive home, and he sees him, and the guy's like, "Who are you?" And then he dies. The cockroach doesn't even touch him. He
Right.
just instantly, his neck snaps all the way around, and he falls to the floor, and the cockroach,
Learns that he has telekinesis.
Right. Right
Or,
before the credits roll.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's another one of these why moments. Why
Right.
establish that the cockroach now has the ability to manipulate physical things with his mind?
And I really don't think it's a positive message, because I think the coke is what gave him the ability to have
Oh, it was.
telekinesis.
It was.
Because
It's
at
really
no
good at
point
helping.
during this did he seem like he had any psychic abilities until literally after he did the cocaine.
Right. It's a very pro-cocaine movie.
Yeah.
You think it's going to be like pro clean up your garbage, maybe don't pollute the planet.
Right.
Al Gore shows up,
Gore's in it.
but then he brutally murders Al Gore, does a bunch of cocaine, and that's
And
what
then
gives
gets
him
telekinesis.
Yeah.
and then has
It was surprising. Very surprising.
I personally had a hankering after that.
Yeah.
for cocaine.
Oh, yeah.
You seem less on the fence about cocaine than you are about this movie.
If there was one thing that this movie taught me, it's that cocaine is great for cleaning. Although it didn't allow me to snap necks.
Oh,
with
so
my
you
mind.
have recently done
You-
cocaine since this movie. This was
We watched
yesterday.
this
Where did you
yesterday,
get
yeah.
cocaine?
I mean, Mark is a pretty cool guy.
Yeah, I know. I mean, he pierced my lip. He's a pretty cool guy.
Mark did that?
That was Mark.
Yeah.
So Barry dropped you off at the mall. You ran into Mark.
Yeah, well, he was, he was around the mall.
Where was
he
Mark
wasn't in the
going?
mall. Well, he was just hanging out. You know how he is. He
Just
loiters.
hangs out at the mall.
with a thing that pierces.
That's not. I don't think that's what it's intended for.
Oh, boy.
Mark's a cool guy.
He's a pretty cool guy. Too clean for your own good. Yeah, I think as far as rating this one is
I
concerned,
mean, we're not there yet. We got to talk about our favorite quotes,
I'm
favorite
sorry.
scene, favorite characters. This is
I'm
when
sorry.
we bring up something that was our favorite in the film.
if I may,
Yeah, go for it.
I personally liked when Al Gore showed up and then the cockroach killed him. Before he did the cocaine, he went up to McGruff, who's still barely alive.
That guy, I mean, he's a fighter,
Uh-huh.
but gone.
The cockroach goes up to his ear and says, "I just murdered your family member, and that's an inconvenient truth."
Right. It's a little
It's
a little winky wink.
It's a bit much.
It's a bit much, but that's your favorite line.
It was my absolute favorite line. Not very good, though.
Still on the fence, huh?
You got on the
Still
fence on
really
that
on the
line
fence
too,
about this movie.
about every aspect of the movie. It seems, except the cocaine.
And the animation.
The animation was fantastic.
The
It was
cocaine
almost
was
as fantastic as the
Right.
cocaine.
Well,
I mean, if you do cocaine, you're pretty much invincible.
I don't think that's true, but you might think you are.
Yeah.
you get really
I
good
think
at
I am.
piercings.
Are you currently on cocaine?
What? On
You said you had a hankering earlier,
I don't.
And you also said you think you are invincible.
and then you reached into your coat pocket. And what did you just? What
I
did you?
don't.
What are you pulling out right now?
Yeah.
What is that?
I don't.
Wow.
Okay.
You choose the point when we're trying to figure out if you're high on cocaine.
I'm not. I don't know
to
what you're talking
do
about.
a line of cocaine in front of
I
us.
really wish I knew what the hell you guys were talking about. I really wish that I was
You're not sneaky. You're not subtle. You wish you were telepathic?
I wish I were telepathic, but I'm just not. Because cocaine doesn't do that for you.
We
Not
we
that
know.
I'm
You've
on
learned
cocaine.
the hard way. We know.
Yeah. You
Not that I'm
learned
there.
I
The
guess
most
the
direct
first-hand way.
way, yeah.
But,
But
I feel like
also-
you could have figured that out.
I feel like you didn't need to develop an entire cocaine addiction to figure out that.
Who says I'm
You don't-
addicted? I can quit anytime I want. Not that I would quit because I didn't start it. I'm not on drug, guys.
All right, let's talk.
I might be though.
Let's talk our scores out of 10 for Too Clean for Your Own Good. I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm gonna give it 4 because I liked all the stuff leading up to the point where things went really dark.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally get that rating. I personally would have to give it out of 10. I would have to give it a 10 for animation, a 1 for story, a 10
For cocaine.
for cocaine,
Is that
and then a 1 for
can you
acting,
use
and then a
that
10
scale on
again
Any other
for cocaine
movie?
again.
Yeah, how does this translate?
What rating do you give Scarface?
In terms
Scarface?
of cocaine? What cocaine rating do you give Scarface?
Out of 10,
Yes.
I would have to give it a 10.
10 for cocaine.
Yeah. For animation, I'd have to give it a 0.
Well, that's fair. I'm gonna go ahead and give this movie Too Clean for Your Own Good an 8 out of 10.
Huh.
Cool.
Do you have any like rubbing alcohol or anything? Or
Yeah,
just, like-
that's
For
It's-
your gum?
it's
for my lip.
That's not your lip, man.
And why would you put rubbing alcohol
I think
on?
I would know what my lip is.
But you don't.
Don't.
Clearly you
do
don't.
it.
I just need to sterilize.
Yeah,
can dig
there's a
that,
lot of
yeah.
pus coming out of
You
there.
know what? You know what? The two most sterile things. You got alcohol. You got cocaine.
I don't think that's
You
true.
should rub some cocaine on it.
I think.
Okay, well, I'm just
You
gonna
wanna
use
think
some
about it?
hot water in the bathroom.
All right.
Put some lemons on
Yeah,
it.
go do that. I mean, also see a doctor. But I guess that kind of wraps it up.
Yeah, here we go.
I think we'll.
All right.
What
We're good.
you're like prepping or hyping yourself up for something.
Yeah,
What do
we're
you
good.
have?
We're ready.
No, we're wrapping
we're
up.
ready.
This is over.
All right. Whew. All right. Do we have?
Why are you?
Do we have it?
You're jogging in place.
All right, we got it. All right.
Sit down, Greg.
Do you need them?
Do I need? Do I need what?
All right, we got it. We got it. All right.
Okay.
Wait, where are my shoes? All right, they're right there. Okay. All right. So
Thanks
this movie
for
we
listening.
watched
Nope,
was
thanks
Too
for listening.
Clean
We'll
for Your
we'll
Own
catch
Good.
you next time. Goodbye.
Pretty good film.